Yo, yo, yo. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Discourse Syndicate. I'm RG3, and I got Johnny Chaos here with me today. How you doing, Johnny?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Thanks for having me.
I'm just getting ready for tonight. LA is about ready to get burnt down, so had to get my shit ready.
That's some crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff in the world today.
Oh, man. Man, oh, man, oh, man. Riots in the streets. Can you believe it? But I hear the National Guard's getting sent out, so they're going to try and squash it, right?
Yeah.
Let's see what that does. Oh, man. Well, did you get to watch Hexo's show?
I did. I thought that was kind of neat. You know, awesome. He brought his buddy on, and he got his buddy into crypto. You know, I got my brother to buy a little bit of Hex. You know, and back when I was trading avidly, I didn't really let anybody know what I was doing because I didn't want anybody to go through that kind of stress. So you know, I didn't really talk to him a lot about what I was doing then, but you know, this is something where, you know, he looks at his 401k and he moves it around and shifts it and sees what he's gaining there. I'm like, well, I know where you could have put some of it. And I showed him my balance, and he goes, "What?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, yeah, it's a little later now, but the people are still not getting what's going on here. You know, they're still kind of in their zone where they want to dismiss us. You know, the first they laugh at you, then they dismiss you. Yeah."
Yeah, dodge, deflect, deny, ignore, and accuse, that whole thing first. You know, and then that's, you know, I know that you I put the thumbnail up as you as being the ANTIFUD, you know, like kind of a play on Antifa and the whole riot and shit, you know, whatever, clickbait. And but you know, you've always been, you know, even when we first met on Twitter, you were always, you know, hey, these fudders are this and these fudders are that, you know. And I think we're getting beyond that now to where the fudders are becoming irrelevant. And, you know, they can say what they want, but they just don't know the facts. And we all know that. And now there's so many people on YouTube, you know, putting out the right information, talking to people, you know, and letting them know what Hex is really all about, that, you know, I think the FUD is kind of losing its steam.
Well, the problem is the way things were done. You know, there are certain things, you know, you see a lot of it still. You know, even in chat, we'll see, you know, people say, well, when can I sell it? You know, they're missing the point. Here's the riddle. What coin can you buy and sell a little bit each day, but still have that coin?
Yeah, exactly.
Hex, because it produces interest and it produces more Hex. So, you know, it's kind of something that is what the space is needed.
Without giving up your private keys and having somebody else do it for you.
Right. You know, and then
risk.
Hexo today was talking about BitConnect and how Hex was compared to BitConnect, and they're two totally separate animals, because the BitConnect thing, you know, most people that got involved in it to a certain extent knew it was kind of a Ponzi, but they figured they could get out quick enough. But nobody expected them just to throw the switch. And as where, you know, it's a totally different animal. It was a lending platform, number one. Number two, there was arbitrage trading bot that was supposedly trading and paying people interest, and that really never existed. And basically, they had a one-way gatekept black box where they could just cut and run.
And that's the other thing, is that they didn't have anything. They never had a product. It was it was a shell game, is what it was. You know, the whole thing was a shell game, and that's why Hex is, I mean, is so much different, because there is no shell game. The code is there for you to read, so you can see the code and you know what's in the code. You know what I mean? There's no shell game. Yeah,
and the other thing is, they limited you. You had to stake, or not stake. You had to loan out your BitConnect for X amount of months in order to get any kind of interest. And I think it was like a year you had to hold it. And with Hex, if you want to stake for a day, you can. And you don't have to stake it. You can just hold it, wait for the value to go up, and then sell it just like any other coin. But what it has is that extra option where you can actually generate more of the coin, instead of, you know, just watching your prices drop. If you know the price goes down, if you're making more Hex, you know, you're balancing that out a little bit. It gives you a little bit of balance where other things on the market just don't offer that. It's an untapped market.
Yeah, and we've talked about it, like on the 24-hour stream, and in the show before, about you know, it becoming a mainstream product, a mainstream banking product that, you know, nobody. We had KNTX on. Yeah, he's in the chat right now. He was talking to us about, you know, he sells financial products out there, so he was talking about how, you know, 3.69%, you know, at minimum, if that's what Hex draws, which they're saying that the interest is more than likely higher than that, with the way with the way everything falls. So you just don't see that kind of an interest rate anywhere in traditional banking products. So it's going to bring a lot of draw to people outside of crypto.
Well, I think the sphere of the crypto space is a little bit overconfident with itself, because, you know, less than 1% of the population even knows what crypto is. Yeah, and we've got these gatekeepers that are really actually quite insignificant in the full spectrum of things, that are trying to hold on to this narrative where they control things. So it's really seems to be a serious struggle for control over the space, and the way things have been done and the way things will be done in the future. So like Hex is not paying anybody Hex to come on and talk about Hex. Okay. And that is really,
that's unique.
Yeah, it's unique. And I mean, you know, yes, there's the referral link, but like what has Hexo done with his referral link? The money that comes in, he was actually handing out for people to actually try it, right?
Yeah, it's not like he makes money off of his show that he can feed his family with or anything. You know, he's bringing in enough to, you know, take care of business and shill out coins to people so that they can, you know, try Hex out. I mean, that's what the guy does. He goes and he hands people, you know, coins to get them to try Hex. Hey, you know, try it out, stake it, so you move it around, you know. And I suggested everybody get out there and do a little bit of that. And you know, and I don't condone the games or any of the dApps that are on there. You know, they're all up to your own risk. Everybody's, you know, playing with those things on their own. But I do it to learn how to move things around within the ecosystem. So I'm always, you know, getting involved in a dApp here, dApp there, moving some Hex around. Just at first, I wanted to see how it moved, how it works, you know, and it does. The wallets work fine. Uniswap has never been down. We've not ever. I mean,
Coinbase is down right now, by the way.
Coinbase is down right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Coinbase,
the
master of onboarding, where you turn fiat into your lovely Bitcoin, is freaking down again.
Sounds like a move's coming.
Yeah, and how many times? And how many times have they done that? You know, how many times? You know,
every time there's a big move, just about.
Remember the whole Bitcoin.
Every damn time there's a big move, one of the exchanges start going down.
Yep.
You know, every time. And you know, here's the thing. Okay, you know, people are like, oh, it's decentralized. You're never going to control Bitcoin unless you already bought in a long time ago. It's, you know,
pieces of it,
you're getting in the last part of the game here. You know, it takes so much financial push to move it in directions, and the people that have it can move that number anywhere they want it.
Yeah, and that's what happens when that financial energy, when the Bitcoin energy moves. I mean, just moves from wallet to wallet. It freaks the whole market out, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like right now, it's sitting at it's like at 10K right now, right? Did it hit 10K and pop back down, or did it go up and stay at 10K?
You know what? I expect it to hit 10K and pop back down. And I haven't even been watching it anymore. I'm actually so sick of watching YouTube where these YouTubers are telling me that it's going to hit $1 million. I heard that in 2017. Huh?
It's over 10K right now.
Yeah, I heard that in 2017, how it's going to hit $1 billion, and I'm still waiting.
Yeah, and who was it that said that? Mr. John McCaffrey, our crazy uncle.
Well, it was the onboarding. It was an onboarding thing. You know, he said it was an onboarding thing, and you know, and it did. It effectively got people into the market. And I mean, look, if you're holding Bitcoin and it goes up, that's great. But you know, here in this community, we're not talking about $500 Hex. Okay. Now you might see an XRP ad for $500 XRP, right? But you're not seeing that from the Hex people, because we're just saying, okay, incremental moves over time is just fine.
Well, yeah, because it gives early adopters a chance to get in and gain some wealth and get some ground on the big money that's going to come in eventually. Because we're going to see that, guys. I mean, big money is going to come in, and Hex is going to get. You know, you're going to get priced out of Hex. You will get priced out of it eventually.
When large amounts come in, the price is going to move so fast that you can't, you'll never catch it. You'll be missing that train really quick. You know, it will inevitably.
Yeah, inevitably it will. But you know, that's something else that, you know, we're talking about John McCaffrey. He put an article out today, and I don't know if he mentioned Hex or if somebody tweeted out that he mentioned Hex. So I'm not sure. I saw the Twitter, but it looked like McCaffrey was saying that his coin, which is what is his new coin called? Oh shoot, somebody will put it in the comments. But
I don't follow him. I hate him when he pops up on my computer screen all the time. Like, damn, McCaffrey.
I love the guy. I mean, he's just. I had a crazy uncle that was a Vietnam vet that, just we lost him a couple years ago, but he was just, I mean, Looney is a freaking goon, but you just gotta love those guys. Let them be who they are. I'm of the opinion you gotta have the charlatans and the clowns in your life, or else what the fuck good is it, man? If you can't have somebody that you can laugh with or laugh at, or crack a joke or bust on somebody. I mean, because we all love Richard Hart, right? And who wants to have a Richard Hart around all the time, busting people's balls, right? I mean, as
long as he's on your side.
Exactly. So that's what so many people don't like having him around, because he's crushed them, So, but I like having the charlatans around. I'm that guy, I've always.
But he's, Richard's speaking truth, and it's hard because there are certain realities that people accept. They have preconceived ideas of what things are and what things should be. I got a fun one for you. We're talking about first mover advantage, name recognition, these kind of things that are working against us currently. If you're in the chat, what would you call this box? This would be a box of, did we get a bunch of people saying Kleenex?
Tissues.
We got one person saying tissues. Okay, so these are actually Kleenex tissues, but they are actually tissues. So like you get that name recognition thing where everybody starts calling things a Kleenex. So in the no coiner world, everybody says Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
So that's one thing that's working against us, because everything's associated with Bitcoin to the outside world. So like if you go in certain states, right, and you say, I want a cola, you'll get either a Pepsi or a Coke, but you won't call it a cola in those states. You'll say, I want a Coke or I want a Pepsi. And they'll say, what kind of Pepsi or what kind of Coke? Because those names have been so known, it's become a thing. So when you have a new item on the market and you're trying to compete with something that already exists, it's constantly going to be compared to that first initiation, first thing. Now,
first mover's advantage.
We don't see people running around with those big brick phones to their head, right? Everybody's got a smartphone in their pocket. So we're advancing technology. Nobody's going to bust out a Commodore 64. They're going to have, an Intel now, right? I don't even know if half the audience even knows what a Commodore 64 is, but trust me, you're running DOS, not Windows, and it's not cool. So, when technology updates, you have to be able to move and advance with that technology and recognize the innovations that are being made, and not just, focusing on, you're not going to be able to hook a Commodore 64 up today to the internet. It's just not going to happen. So.
Yeah. And that's always been my problem with Bitcoin, and it is the brand, it is, the onboarder, it is the founder of crypto. And just like a Commodore 64, I have a special place in my heart for it. But, this is technology. It's got to advance. You have to advance. And I'm not sitting here on a Commodore 64 with an external hard drive and, some external RAM trying to make the thing work. I'm not doing that.
Got one RT.
I wish I still had my old Commodore, but I don't, but I had one.
But you moved on, and
well, you have to in technology. I mean, music and every media that we've used out there in the technological world, everything, all the media has changed and moved on and grown, and nobody's questioned it until now. Now all of a sudden, people in tech are questioning the advancement of technology, and that's freaking blows my mind. It just blows my mind. But I mean, that's. Let me finish with the McCaffrey thing. I guess his coin was called, I just saw it in here. Somebody just said it, daggone it. It was
RG, can you turn your volume up a little bit for me here?
Is it down too low or what? Really? How's that? Any better?
No, it's still weak for some reason.
Huh. Well, that's my sound. So I'm just hearing it myself better. Huh. I don't know. Everybody, can you hear me? Is it sound bad? Sound low?
sometimes when I pop out,
Ghost. It's called Ghost Coin. So his coin is called Ghost Coin. It's some kind of a privacy deal. Of course, it's McCaffrey's privacy coin. And I heard that today when he tweeted, he said something about Ghost and Hex are going to change crypto. And I don't know if he said that or what, but yeah, everyone says they can. Sounds good on their end. So maybe you're.
It's me.
But so
I'm streaming from that smartphone, not my brick phone, because my brick phone wouldn't have a camera on it.
No. I had one of those damn brick phones too. I actually had the one. I worked for when I got out of the Corps. I worked for a radio station called K-Rock out here in Southern California, and I did promotions for a couple guys named Kevin and Bean, and I was their assistant morning show producer. And the phone I carried around had a box, and it had the big brick on this end of it, and the wire that went to it, and you had to plug it in, for half the day, and you ran around. And that was the coolest thing on the freaking planet when I had that. And it was this big old box that I carried on the side of my hip, and I had to run around all the shows that we did and shit with it. And it was super duper cool. And then we got the brick, which was just the big phone that was about this big. And then that was like, wow, look how technology.
Don't remember that. That it's hard for.
Well, no, because I'm old as fuck. That's why.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to remember there was a time when we didn't have smartphones, because
it wasn't that long ago.
Everybody's Google genius. We got our Google in our hand. We know the answer to everything.
Yeah, when I started in the industry that I started in, becoming a millwright, we had radios in the trucks, and we didn't have cell phones and none of that shit. So I went in and did my job, and I came out, and when I left, or they'd call into the place I was at if they needed me or something. And now, as I left my industry just a few years ago, everybody had a phone with them, so the boss can call me anytime he wanted. I can be in the middle of work and he wants to talk to me, or the office wants to talk to me. And so it's kind of more of a pain in the ass than anything. And then the cool thing is, you're connected to everybody, but the bad thing is that you're connected to everybody. So your family, your kids, your wife, everybody can call you at any time they want, So technology be damned, or technology is awesome. I guess it's, 6 on one, half a dozen on the other. Yay on one, and fuck you on the other.
The other thing working against this, like I said, when I said everybody's a Google genius, is the fact that the phone pulls up the top algorithm, and the top algorithm and the top line, everybody reads the top line. And whatever is promoted highest in that algorithm, people believe to be true. Okay? They don't generally look any farther. So when we have algorithms working against us saying X is a scam, all right, that is the first thing people believe. And most people are not diligent enough to look into something far enough to see it. They're just like, okay.
Okay, so let's stop right there for a second. Not to just destroy you or anything, but what that's done for us, for the Hex community, has just made the price stay good for a while longer.
Think so?
Right? Of course. Yeah. If everybody really knew what Hex was, not like all these folks in the chat know it, then there wouldn't be getting the good deals that they're getting.
Well, right, I'm not saying we're not benefiting from it at all. But
so it's kind of, it's kind of like a gift horse right now. It's like people are going to watch these videos going, oh, damn, man, those guys were freaking killing it at that point. They were buying this shit for, 50,000, Hex for 1 ETH. Oh my God. That's going to be a thing back. We're now, look, let's just go back a few months ago. We're not talking ancient history. We're talking 2 months ago. We get 1 million Hex, for 1 ETH.
1 ETH.
And ETH was down,
$87.
$87. And you were getting like $1.5 million. It's like
$87 could have bought you 1 million Hex. Yes,
exactly.
Actually, 1.3 million.
So that's going to be epic right there. That's going to be seriously epic. And it was only a couple months ago. So by the time the AA ends, all these videos, like all the stuff that Hex has done, everything's going to be archived. Like, wow, his pizza is going to be some ridiculous, outrageous amount. It's things are going to change, and we're in a good spot right now. So that all of the FUD has actually really helped us all. And really, every time that Richard has had to get on stream and educate somebody, for lack of a nicer word to use. Whenever he's done that, it's just made it's just made Hex's point every single time. Nobody with any rational brain or any freaking anyone worth their salt in this space sees that and goes, yeah, you know what, that guy was right and Richard was wrong. You know, the man knows his coin, he knows what he did, he knows crypto, and when people come on and they're not prepared and they don't understand what it is and they don't know what they're talking about, they lose. And every time they've done that, it's just gained credibility.
Well, here's the thing. You can't ask somebody who has never had an experience. You know, say a person is hang gliding, right? You don't ask somebody who's has never hang glided what it's like to hang glide, right? You don't you don't ask somebody who's never owned any hex what it's like. Ask the people that actually own it, see if they're happy with it, and that's how you make a rational judgment. You're not going to do that by listening to these people that haven't even read the code. Okay, they have no idea, and they come in, well, because I believe it's a scam, so it must be a scam, and it can't be better than my coin because I have this bias to this thing that I hold on to. You know, it's insane.
Did you read the code?
If you want to know about anything, ask somebody who's experienced it.
Did you read the code?
Yes.
I didn't. I don't know how. I don't know what the freaking code is, to be honest.
It'll give you a headache.
Gobbledygook to me, as far as I know. But I know smarter people than me have read the code, and you know, it's good from what I understand. So the people that I trust who have read it versus, you know, guys that are calling.
I don't know that I made it.
Nobody out there. Nobody out there has said anything about the code. You know what I'm saying? So all these smart motherfuckers out there who are supposed to be, you know, talking bad about Hex, I'm sure they've read the code, right? So there should have been somebody should have come out with something and said, hey, there's something, you know, fucked up in the code here. This is wrong. This is no good. This is, oh man, there's a loophole. There's something, you know, I haven't seen none of that. So that's what gives me confidence in going and read the fucking code.
The only thing they said about the code is they don't like the fact that the origin address gets a copy of the bonuses. And that's just.
I don't.
It doesn't. You know, whatever. A person, you know, if we don't even want to go down that road. But anyway, now I lost my train of thought. It's my turn.
Well, no, we were just talking about, you know, reading the code and you know, the people that have backed it up, or I haven't seen anybody try and dispute it. So that tells me right there, well, that settles that. You know, I've heard nothing but, you know, people like Good Texture and people that have read the code, that understand code, you know, said it's solid shit, man. Makes more hex. Put in hex, stake it for this long, stake it for this long, you make more hex. Stake it for longer, you make more hex. You know, that's how it works. Now, the only variable is the price of hex. What is the price of it? The only variable in every crypto is that.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about all the other shit with the other with hex that you do with the other crypto.
Added share factor, you know, and that change that's another game changing scenario where the earlier you get in, you're holding your position,
and,
you know.
And there's another thing that, you know, and this is going to expose me or whatever, but that's another, like, I'm not caring about the FUD, and I'm not caring about people not. At first I was like, I wanted to know about the shares for myself. So I was putting it out there on Discord Syndicate so that I can understand and I can listen to all you freaking smart motherfuckers out there tell me what the share thing was all about and all that good stuff. Because I'm not a maths guy. I don't know maths. I can't read code, blah, blah, blah. But I know how to utilize smart people and listen to smart people and watch people that I trust, and then deduce it by, you know, where's the alternative to their facts? Where's the fights coming from? Where, you know, who's debating it? Who's disputing it? Where's the problems? And I haven't seen any of that. I never saw it. So I was like, what happened? We got your under armpit there or something? We lose your camera? But anyway.
No, I lost my screen. There it is.
Oh.
Hold on. Stupid thing.
So anyway.
No, my screen just blacked out on me for no reason.
So what I was saying was I don't want to talk about all that stuff anymore because it's exposing the
advantages.
It's exposing the beauty of Hex, because if people really understand the shares, they're going to FUD into this thing like crazy early on, and it's coming. It's coming.
You're still buying.
I'm always still buying. I made a little move this week myself, just on the dip. I took a little more of my outside, fiat and brought it in. So yeah, I made a little. I
sent you that message about what I pulled off.
Yeah,
that was nice.
So I mean, I stake, all of my crypto bags from the past in Hex, and made my stakes the way I want them, and that's going to be the girth of my wealth or whatever. But I'm going to dollar cost average in and keep bringing a little more to the table, play with the games and do that kind of stuff with, that's like gambling. I see so many people talking so bad about all the games and stuff. And I'm sure that some of them are going to fall on their face, and some of them are going to, get locked up, and people are going to get locked out and not be able to get their stuff back. Cause that's the risk of gaming and gambling and Ponzi's and all that stuff. So if you're going to play in that field, realize the risks and only, use fun money or what you can afford to lose. It's just, I don't go to Vegas. So it's like going to Vegas for me. I've never really, been a gambler or whatever, but I got a little bit that I'm playing with my Hex.
So, well, I think the ICO craze drawed in a lot of the gambling crowd. I really think it was. You pretty much throw a dart and pick which one was going up, and everything was going up there for a bit, and then everything fell down. But, for the people that do gamble, if you're buying scratch-off tickets or, lotto tickets or whatever, why not buy yourself $5 worth of Hex, stake it and see what happens? You're going to lose that anyway. If you're one of those people that go to the casino and you're going to go with $100 and you plan on losing that $100, why not take that $100 and throw it into Hex and see what happens?
Yeah.
Now as far as the games, that are built on Hex, that's fine. Just realize that's not Hex. Those are applications that are built on Hex and should not reflect that whatsoever.
All of them are. None of them are Hex. Hex is Hex, and that's it. And anything else is just like, it's just like your dollar is not a dollar if it's in Vegas. Your dollar is only a dollar if it is in your friggin' hand.
Yeah, when you cash out the chip.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's the bottom line. If you can't afford to risk, or you can't, then I wouldn't play with my Hex if I were you. And of course, if you are playing with your Hex, make sure you're staking, what your nest egg or whatever you want, or your gains you need or whatever, because you don't want to take chances on that and then I'm going to stake this later. I need to make it.
If you're the gambler type and you want to keep your stuff liquid, then keep it liquid. You don't have to stake it. Staking is absolutely completely optional. If you're looking for when to drop your Hex, don't stake it. There's no reason to emergency unstake, other than the fact that you're paying the rest of us that aren't going to do what we're told, what we say we're going to do. But you do not have to stake it. And if you do not have the ability to withhold gratification and wait a little bit, if you don't have that in you, then don't stake for longer terms than you can afford to do. But
yeah, so many early on stakes, you see, like, why, like, I can understand people, like, after they've staked for 50% of their time, and it gives them a better ROI to maybe, throw it out there 5 years, throw it out there 10 years, maybe they get a little, they break even, or they don't lose that much, and then they can gain more on the long-term stake. I understand that. But what I didn't understand was all of those early people, dropping $1 million, $2 million, $4 million, and then yanking it out and losing, 70-80% of their stack, in just a couple of days, staking it for 10 years and then pulling it out after a couple of days. It was like, man, what were you guys thinking?
And I still think in the back of my head, and it's not that I can prove it, But you know, when you see stuff that nukes the whole entire stack, I look at that as like staker rewards. And
well, it is.
You know, I have a hard time believing that somebody's going to push that button when they're going to lose their whole stack if they're not intentionally redistributing that money. But that would be one of those things that would be expectations that we can't promise, and you know, are random occurrences that may occur at any point in time. But the stickiness in the game theory and how it's going to look around big payday is crazy because of how many different directions and speculative perspectives people have. You know, you've got the people that are like, when can I dump this? And then you got the other people, wait a minute, look at my shares. If I hold these and everybody else dumps, then I'm getting paid more. And there's all this interesting stuff that's going to happen then. And you know, people think that like big paydays end game, and really that's when the supply stops. You know,
that's when things really start.
Interesting. It doesn't even get interesting until after big payday. You know, it's like everyone's like, oh, the price moved, the price moved, price moving, price move. It's like, look, guys, it doesn't even matter until a year from now. It really doesn't. When everything straightens out and dust settles, you know, that's when it's going to start to matter.
Yeah, EMG says, dude, it's a work of art. Which it is. I'm going to tell you, there's only one problem that I have with the hex. So in moving it around, back and forth through some of these dApps and things, you know, and it's Ethereum, man. Ethereum just crypto bugs me. You know, it's cool that it's easy to move around, and I know how to do it, you know, so it's not, if for a new user, of course, it would be like petrifying to be moving, you know, your crypto around like that. But, you know, using Ethereum and paying the gas fees, and then, you know, like last night, it was slow as can be, man. It was just like I had to even go to sleep and wake up 4 hours later to have a transaction go through, and then, you know, and you speed up, and then you start looking at all the fees that you paid, you know, over the last, and Hex is, you know, they built it efficient, so it's cheaper than if you try doing something else or moving something else within the ERC20.
You have to watch some of the dApps too, because it looks like there are extra gas fees involved, and you really kind of have to do the math for yourself on whether or not you're actually making or losing, because you're paying those gas fees and stuff. So,
well, yeah, because you're creating actions too. So you're when you operate functions on some of these dApps, you have to pay the fees for that too. So, you know, verifying and staking or freezing or doing those kinds of things onto these dApps and doing that stuff, you have to pay those fees too. So moving it around, moving it from a wallet to a wallet, and then moving it into another wallet and moving it onto another platform, those kinds of things, which really it wasn't built for. Hex was built to go to buy or to sell on Uniswap, or to sell on an exchange, or to stake, you know, so you really shouldn't have that many fees associated with it. But, you know, it's the only thing that I don't like is the Ethereum network and moving crypto around. And that's just crypto in general, I guess. I mean, Hex solves that problem by not being a coin that needs to be moved around, not needing to be a coin that needs to be gone out and spent and used as currency necessarily. But as a store of value, as a true store of value, like they've always said Bitcoin is, but really Hex is, because you have a store of value that's gaining interest on itself, you know, so, and gaining penalties from other people, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's definitely an interesting, very interesting invention. You know, I mean, Richard's been in the game for a long time, and you know, love him or hate him, he knows how the system works. He knows how market works. You know, he understands marketing. He understands when these people are screaming scam, that draws attention to the project. He'll tell you, you know, and now people are to the point where they are not acknowledging it, or they'll delete your comment or whatever if you talk about it, because they realize that you know, trying to FUD is just ineffective. And I mean, in a sense, you can only deny reality so long before you look like a total idiot, you know. you can only do it for so long, and you end up being on the wrong side of history, and that's what's happening. It looks like a lot of the old YouTubers are going to be replaced with the people that are on the right side of history. So you're going to have to get on the ball here and actually really examine what it is that they're missing out on, because if they don't, they're going to become obsolete. And you're going to see all the people that are hexers, and they're going to be replacing these YouTubers, because the people that are promoting hex right now are the ones that are going to make people money.
Well, I think that that's where a lot of this tribalism is coming from too, because they're confused. They know better in their own mind that what it is that they're promoting is not working. They know in their own mind that what they're promoting is hurting people. But they're stuck in that cycle of they're making money off of it, and they're stuck in that cycle off of they're shilling their own bags, because they're all sitting on a bunch of them from 2017. So they're stuck in this cycle, and they've made a presence, and they've made a name for themselves, and they've made money off of themselves shilling something, and they're all realizing that they were wrong. I think that some of them are realizing that. And that's why you've seen some of them completely shut down their shows, completely pull out of crypto, and they're onto other things actually. So, and some of the bigger ones, some of the big names that were in the YouTube space that were out there shilling crypto and shilling, you know, trading and all that stuff, they're gone. They're gone. And the ones that are still saying, the diehards, they still have contracts. They still have, you know, products that they have to sell. So I'm sure that it's fucking with their heads, you know, that they've got to deal with this in some way.
And if Hex paid them, they'd say Hex was good. But the fact is, nobody's paying them any Hex to say that. You know,
nobody's paying anybody anything to say anything about Hex.
No, it's just really our own personal opinions about how we feel about the project, and the fact that we're all bots. That's actually what drew me out. I mean, I'm a crypto enthusiast, but that's not my main business. We see the stuff hanging up here behind me and such.
Yeah, I like the skulls, man.
Yeah, I'm you know, I go to trade shows and conventions. I'm a public person. I'm out there in the open. So, you know, I didn't really want to, you know, come out of this, but it's just people are getting so much false information that it really just irritated me, because I've been through it. I've been that guy that watched the YouTuber going, oh, okay, I'm going to buy some of that, and I'll buy some of that too, and I'll buy some of that, and I'll see, you know, and nothing that I bought has ever done anything like Hex. It was totally unexpected the way it shot up the way it did. I mean, earlier interviews and stuff, I told you I was expecting maybe a penny by big payday, and now it's like I don't even know. Okay, because this is done. You know, I came in this as a skeptic. Okay, I feel stupid for coming in as a skeptic, and I cashed out a little early so that I had made my money back and some money so that I have free Hex, right, and not have to worry about covering my entry costs, but still hold a good position, because, you know, it just seemed to make too much sense. You know, when you actually really sit down and examine what the project is and understand that, you know, it's just amazing.
Yeah. Let's see what the chat's having to say here.
There's a lot. I see 80, but every time I switch the screen to view the chat, I lose the screen.
I tried to poke holes. Let's see. I tried to poke holes in it, and I failed, so I went all in. Well, Mousetrip, when did you go all in? That's what I want to know. When did you give up poking holes in it and get in? I was joking. Far out, I have no idea. Oh, he's talking far out.
Oh, aliens. Absolutely. When I got into Hex, I wanted to poke holes in it. When the game changed in
that's just due diligence. I mean, you gotta.
Yeah, when the game changed in development, there were things I didn't like, but it all makes sense as it develops. It makes more sense. You know, at first it was just Bitcoin Claim, and it was called just Bitcoin Hex, right? And people didn't like that he was using the Bitcoin name. and it was just Bitcoin claim. Well, if it was just Bitcoin claim, no, there would not be a market. So when he added the adoption amplifier and added the incentive program and added things as it developed, I was like, I don't know, I'm not comfortable with this. Now you can buy it for ETH. Now it sounds like kind of like an ICO. So I really watched it as it developed, and I had my moments of skepticism as it was developing. I'm a rational person. If it sounds too good to be true, usually it is. But the key word being usually it is. Sometimes it's a missed opportunity because you don't recognize something for what it is, or you dismiss it because you don't understand it. And, that happens a lot, that we are very quick to dismiss things that we don't understand because we don't want to involve the time that it takes to understand something. And you cannot jump into an opportunity without really examining it and being skeptical. And everybody thinks we're a bunch of bots, or we're a Cole to Richard or whatever. If the product is a good product, people will buy the product regardless of who makes it. And you can't have biased because you don't like a specific person. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I still buy stuff on Amazon, but I'm not a fan of Bezos. Okay.
But that's just a ridiculous position to hold. If you don't like somebody, you're not going to get involved in their project. I mean, that just doesn't hold water. I mean, I get it. I understand that, there's personalities and there's YouTube personalities. There's people that are butthurt from, getting ripped by Richard, but, and the things that he said things about Ethereum, and we still can't get on That's one of the other things that I don't like is this new Uniswap V2. It just, I don't know. It doesn't.
I'm sticking with V1.
Well, we have to. I mean, the liquidity issues.
So they add Hex to it manually, and I think the fees are higher on the V2 also. And doesn't matter. It's
so somebody said something in the chat, and it's KTNX. KTNX, hit me up in Telegram, dude. I wanted to pull you on, man, and talk more about this. I know that when you got off the stream the last time, you wanted to talk about some things, and I tried to get it out of you, but we didn't get it out of you at that time. But you're talking about S curves, and I'm gonna be freaking quite honest with you guys. I don't know what the hell you're talking about when you're talking about an S curve. I know that it's the ups and the downs or whatever, but I don't know how to get into the intricacies of your S curve. So hit me up in Telegram, and I'll throw you the link, man. You can come in and hang out if you want to talk about that for a minute.
I can be quiet. I really can. It's possible.
Do you know what an S curve is, and how to explain it, and what it means, and how it applies to Hex? I mean, I know what an S curve is, but I don't know the financial intricacies
I don't know what
of it.
Specifically talking about, but it's it's ups and downs. I don't know what he's specifically talking about.
Well, it's the natural progression of the curve of what Hex is doing right now is my guess is what he wants to talk about in depth. But let me see.
Well, the thing is, nobody knows what Hex is going to do. Even the people that believed in Hex never expected it to hit 0.5 cent. Now, so for you following along, for all the people that didn't believe in Hex, if you had a Bitcoin and you took that Bitcoin and you bought Hex with that Bitcoin a few months ago, you would now have over 100 Bitcoins. If you had that Bitcoin to sell, that is, and you, in the meanwhile, while they're telling you $1 million Bitcoin, do the math.
Hold on. Here he is. I want to drop him the. I like talking to these guys that do real world finance because they analyze all those products and they know what those products look like. And when I want to go invest in something, I sit down with a smarter motherfucker than me and I ask him, what do I do with my money and why would I put it in this thing that you're telling me to put it in, and then I make my own decision based on what they tell me and what I see when I do a little research from what they give me. So I always like listening to these guys, give me some information so that I can make some decisions or that I can speak to it and talk to other people out there who are looking at those financial products. I mean, I know which ones are good and which ones are are bad and which ones are making money and which ones aren't. You know, I know that muni bonds are kind of your best deal out there. I know that CDs are your best deal at the bank, but they all suck. There's really no, you know, at this point, I mean, in our grandfather's day, those things were good. Those products were good. Muni bonds might still be somewhat decent. But you know, in this day and age, you may as well just stick your money under your damn pillow because
2%, even if you're making 2%, you're only accounting for inflation, and that's in an average economy and an average, you know, progression. And right now we're not in that position at all, and people are really struggling right now. And you know,
yeah, that's going to be
going to miss a lot of people, because right now, you know, they're worried about, you know, how they're going to take care of their family. They don't necessarily going to have the money to invest, you know.
Mousetrip says, he says, no muni bonds. Hell no. Probably anyway.
Has Conrad showed up?
No. I'm going to have to reschedule. I had to reschedule Conrad. His he's not good for till the weekends and stuff. So we've got.
I think he's really interesting because he's looking at it from a different perspective than what I did. He was on the right side of the coin. I was on the wrong side of the coin. I thought Bitcoin was a scam, so therefore I didn't wake up until it was $2,000. And
so you thought Bitcoin was a scam too?
Do what?
So you thought Bitcoin was a scam too?
Oh God, yes. God, yes. I told my friends, hey, stay away from that thing, man. Well, why would you want monopoly money? So yeah. So I mean, I'm when I say I was skeptical about Hex, I mean I cashed out. You know, I got into the wrecked mode and sold on the way down and got the hell out of crypto, and I actually got back in because of Hex, because of all the false promises and all of these roadmaps and all of these things that never happened. And you know, I just got tired of the pain as these promises weren't being met, you know. And again, you know, I didn't you know, I didn't get destroyed. I didn't sell my house or anything to get into crypto or anything. But you know, you hear from this YouTuber and that YouTuber that this is the coin. You know, and you know, kind of like, well, we're talking about Hex now, and but I'm not giving anybody a link. I'm not you know, I mean, I know you got your link, and that's fine. Give RG your link. You should, because he's telling you about this, and you know what little he makes off that is you know, helps the channel and everything. But
it's going straight back to the community when I get
that, you know, and that's what Hexo does too. I mean, I was talking to you, you know, outside of chat. We were talking about, it's like we should start a bounty so that we could get those people that think they can argue the point, because they have no information. But then, you know, you kind of got a point, because it's like having a battle of wits with an unarmed opponent, because they got no material. They've
got nothing. They'll just want to come here and talk about something else, or talk about they're always going to have just one argument in the centralization of the of the coins. You know, that's of the OA. I mean, that's all and
everyone thinks that is going to be, you know, malevolent. Why can't it be malevolent? It can't be, because that's not how things are done. Companies drop on your heads. That's what they do, right? That's what crypto is. You buy in.
Everything does that.
On your head, your price goes down. You're like, damn it! I thought this was going to be a good coin.
The Koch brothers own more of their stock
over and over and over and over again. And you finally get the idea. It's like, oh my God, I know who's making money in crypto, and it ain't me. It's them.
Yeah, no, it always has.
Finally gives you a chance to do something a little bit different, where you can actually own kind of a stake in the company. You know. And it generates coins. You can't mine. It generates coins.
Yeah.
You can't mine because you can't compete with those guys. You can't compete with Bitcoin because 2,000 wallets own it all. It's no different than our fiat system. The top percent own it all.
No, and that's what I was just saying. The top percentages of holders of stock are the tops of the companies. And when they get together and they want to dump on your ass, they do. That's what they do.
That's all markets.
And that's what boards are for. The boards get together so that the major holders, they want to know, and they suck each other's asses so that nobody's going to dump on them. Please let us know if you're going to dump. Please let us know. That's what these things are for. That's what the real world does. It's the same, situation, only, they don't have immutable companies. So economy goes bad, they get to bail when they want to, so. But it's going to be interesting also for those of us who did get into Hex, the financial stability that next year is going to bring to people who are in Hex, because they have a year stake that's going to unstake and they're wrecked, because there's so many people that are wrecked right now that don't have jobs and aren't going to get jobs, over this next year. This is just starting. This whole thing is just starting. It's one thing to not pay your mortgage or your rent or something for a month or two, or not have a job for a month or two. But once the eviction notices are solid, 90 days has gone by and it's okay for them to throw your ass out on the street, this shit's going to get real, man. Yeah, I mean, they're right in the streets right now, and shit hasn't even financially got real for everybody. I know there's people that are hurting. There's people that are wrecked right now. But another, 30, 60 days from now, it's really going to start hitting, and some serious shit's going to start going down financially for people. And it's going to be interesting to see, what some of these stakers that are, got a year stake out there, how many people it might save. I'm looking at it, fortunately.
The government's not throwing forth no UBI. The stimulus check was a one-time payment. Neither side is representing you. Government's not going to save you. You're going to have to bail your own self out. So you're going to have to find something that's going to produce some kind of passive income if there isn't a job that is available. So, again, you can't take your life savings and throw it into something like this, but any kind of extra anything would be good. And if you set it up in laddering stakes, you're able to take out a little bit here and there and sell a little bit here and there, and a little bit here and there might help,
Yeah. That's how I'm looking at it is, I've got some stakes coming out, and I'm like, okay, well, some of this I'm going to restake, and some of it I'm going to, supplement my income, and some of this so it's, it's gonna position me well next year, better than any investment that I've ever made. I mean, even if we just sit where we're at right now, if we don't move anywhere,
so
if we sit sideways, my Hex is growing, and if we stay sideways and we don't ever get over a half a penny, those of us early adopters, those of us who got in, are sitting in a very nice spot right now, and it wouldn't be a tragedy if it didn't go to a penny, 3 pennies, 5 pennies. I'm not expecting that it's going to sit at a half a penny, but even if it did, it wouldn't be, really the end of the world for Hex, because Hex is going to continue. I don't see it sitting at a half a penny, but
it's never going to hit zero, because it can't, because you can't really sell it to zero because
of the liquidity pool.
So no matter what, it's making something. It might not be a lot. Maybe you got a big stake and it makes $1. Woo! But as long as it's sitting there, at least it's making something. And other coins, all you can do is just hold your bag and hope. Watch the same coins, stay the same coins, go up and down in value, and when you can't take enough pain, you hit the sell button and you go, I quit.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we got our S curve bro coming in here. Let's
okay, bring him in.
So KNTX is he well, I'll let him explain what he does exactly, but I think he works in the financial industry, where he sells financial products like life insurance, things like that. And he wants to talk about the S curve, and I'd love to get friggin' educated right now. So what's happening, brother?
Hey guys, how are you guys doing?
Johnny Kinetics. I gotta quit calling you KNTX because it's Kinetics, right?
Yeah, but that's all right. It's just Kinetics without any vowels in it.
How you doing, bro?
Good, man. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Good to see you again. I'm glad you mentioned that, and I said said to myself, I'm like, fuck, man, I don't know what the fucking S curve is. I mean, I understand the concept of what an S curve is, but how it fits in this and what it means for Hex, and as we move on, maybe you can help explain that, because, you know, maybe I know everybody out there doesn't know what it is either, and I'm not afraid to say I'm stupid. So what is it that you want to talk about the S curve? And
well, I don't want to claim to be the smartest guy on the stream either, but I just think it's so appropriate because it's specific to the adoption of new technologies. And if you ever look at the diffusion of innovations, you'll see an S curve. You can actually find it on Wikipedia, but it talks about the innovators are usually only about 2.5% of the people that first take on. Then there's the early adopters, which I don't know, you might be able to say it coincides with Hex right now. That's only 13.5% of those that are even aware of the industry. And then you get the early majority at 34, and it peaks out at the late majority before you start to see the adoption go down into a laggard state. And then in a lot of times you'll actually see it just rise and take off. And I think
so that's this concept segues perfect into what I was talking about. You know, hey, even if it stays at a half a penny, we wouldn't be in dire straits. Hex has done well, and if it just creeps up a little. But you're talking about we're in a different part of this whole S curve thing, where massive, adoption is going to create an even more of a rise because of the S curve theory, I guess you can say.
Oh, absolutely. I think we've still got, even before big payday comes, I think we've got some massive pumps coming. And then I think you will see it tail off, and it might coincide with the economics that Richard put together. I don't know if he was thinking about this when he was thinking about designing the coin, but there is going to be I'm quite certain he was, but I mean, I don't want to put I haven't heard him say as much, and I didn't want to put words in his mouth, but I think there will be, and it coincides so perfectly. Everyone expects after the big payday a huge dump, which I don't necessarily believe because of the staggered stakes. I don't, unless people are going to emergency unstake and cripple themselves and pay the rest of us. And if they do, that's fine with me too.
Well, here's what I think, because we are going to get a pump before payday, big payday. And here's what I do think. We are going to get some people that are going to see that price spike up before big payday. And they're going to be like, oh, shit, look at this price. It's big. And they're going to go, oh, if I unstake now and I sell, I'm going to make more money. And then they'll sell it for that price, and it's just going to walk away from them. Because, that's my thought on it.
I think you can coincide. For those who have been in the space long enough, I think you can look at that and compare it to November of 2017 for the BTC price, and everyone's looking at these gains like, man, it went from $1,000 to $8,500. I'm going to sell, and then it gets away from them, and they're trying to buy back in at 20K.
So let me get this right so that I understand the vernacular of an S curve. So an S curve is really about adoption metrics, right? So it's adoption metrics that we're talking about, not necessarily price rises or anything but adoption metrics moving the price or moving the value, moving in an up or downward manner. So crypto itself, I know, is not even in the highest part of its S curve yet, in my opinion. When it comes to the general public, when you're looking at how many percentages of people came in, and when you look at, so now let's unravel crypto for a second, because at the height of the 20K Bitcoin, we were at $800 and something billion. So that's showing, that there was either fake money coming in or institutional money from few players, and there was, because the adoption hasn't changed. There wasn't the S curve. My guess is didn't change because we dropped right back down to where we were before this whole institutional money thing happened with the ETFs and all that shit, right? So that was that whole 20K thing was fake.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I think you called it exactly on the last stream. That the institutional money came in, they made their gains, and they left. See you later.
Yeah, And that's what I saw. I mean, I remember everybody was all hyped up about it. Oh, the ETFs are coming. The real money's coming. Oh shit, crypto's gonna freaking rocket.
We're still hearing that now. We're still hearing that now.
Yeah, but when we're talking about the S curve is giving you that what you were talking about earlier, financial energy. You know, there's energy in that. It's like putting what happened there. I don't know what you would call that in financial terms, but that was like injecting nitrous into the damn thing. Is all that did, and it fizzled out. It jammed and it fizzled out, and then you're back in where you were at your S curve. You know, you're still at that adoption phase. You haven't gained anything. You know, so I still think crypto has to, you know, complete its adoption curve. Still, it's not there yet. It's
as
not
a whole,
yeah. And then Hex fits within that so sweet because
I
Hex
see
Hex.
crypto doing this, coming back down, and then the S curve adoption with Hex with a whole new pay to play game theory behind it, and it's shooting right back up, and that's your S. That's where your S comes in.
So you think that Hex could actually be the other part of the wave of the S wave and bringing it back
when
up
people
to
are done getting wrecked on false promises.
Exactly. Well, because now you don't have to be a trader to make gains. Now you've got a way to make crypto off of your crypto, which is what people who have been in financial industries forever are looking at crypto like, oh, you know, the appreciations were great on that gain, but what good is it to us unless we have someone full-time trading it?
But see,
and all you're doing is stealing from someone else. Yeah. Well, you're not getting any more economic energy when you're trading. All you're doing is stealing the economic energy from the guy that's not as good as you, that's already in the industry.
But the kicker is was done and how it's been done, and that's kind of how it's been promoted, and that's kind of how, you know, they expect us to play, and everybody's going to have to change their YouTube channel except for us when people realize what's going on here, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Maxie, you can come looking for me. That's my goal anyway. I'm ready. I'm ready for him. So bring it.
I thought we were going to start this at 7:00.
6, bro.
Dude, oh my god. Okay.
I said Friday. My sister's show is on Friday, so hers is. I had to do it on 7:00 for her on Friday because it's her deal. And
it's her, right, dude. Okay, whatever. What happened?
I just happened to catch it because.
Well, at least you're not.
I was expecting 10:00 too, man. I was taking a nap. It's a little later here.
Yeah.
At least you're not drunk or anything. Like I can be like, "What were you doing, man?"
No, I mean literally,
it's like, "Hey, what's up, man?"
I got off of work like 15 minutes ago, got changed, and turned the camera on. Literally, that's what I did right now.
Well, do we want to restart the stream?
No.
Hey,
here we go again.
I got the music on this time. I was a minute late, but I got it on this time. I uploaded the wrong one again. I fixed it. Because the intro, the sound is all messed up and everything. So I had to go in there and fix it. So it's working, but I didn't upload it. So
these are all just little hiccups right now on the road of greatness.
The road to greatness.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
love that background.
For you guys.
Dude, did you get to catch Hexo's stream earlier today?
No, dude. I was in no internet connection area, dude. It was terrible.
He had a cool one, dude. He had one of his buddies on that he onboarded that doesn't know, anything about technology. Dude doesn't even have a social media platform that he's on or anything. So he got him into Hex early. So it was cool. It was cool having him on there, watching him do that.
That's cool. I got to rewatch that right now.
Yeah, he did a good job on that. As he always does, my boy Hexo.
Kills it.
Kind of creeped me out with the whole the hands thing this time. He was like, did you see it? Did you see his thumbnail?
What? I know it's got Richard in it, right? It's the
no. He's like doing this laying hands things. He's looking like the Pope or some shit. He's like, oh.
I may be thinking of a thumbnail of the dude. He's a thumbnail king, dude. He got some crazy ones.
You want to see something cool? Go into Hexo's stream, his YouTube, and just turn up the videos and then scroll down and then all you see all of his thumbnails. I mean, dude, he makes a new thumbnail every day and they're just, I mean, you could just go through all of them. It's freaking bitching, and he did a good job on all those thumbnails.
You did Richard as Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, he's done
mouse trip.
Cryptoverse.
I even got in one of them. He put me in one of them one time. I forget what he did. He did like a Lord of the Rings or something like that. Oh yeah, he put Trayvon as the Gollum.
Oh right, yeah. Didn't he have me as that one dude with the sword? Or like,
yeah.
Oh,
we lost kinetics. Maybe he'll jump back in. But yeah, he put Trey. I made a joke one night when I said, "Yeah, man, Trayvon is like our Gollum, bro. He's you gotta have him. He's
my precious.
You gotta have him in there, But anyway, so what's going on, bro?
Nothing.
Uh-oh.
Now we lost Litecoin.
Yeah. Damn internet connections for everybody. Maybe it's the war that's going on out there in the streets. Let me see.
So speaking of things and the way they were done, you know how we've got everybody's waiting for that big exchange to list it. And it's like when XRP was listed on Coinbase, the whole XRP army was pushing, win XRP, let's get it listed on Coinbase. And then it gets listed on Coinbase and it does nothing. Mm-hmm. And everybody had that all that hype about it because they thought, when Bitcoin Cash was listed, there was a lot of insider trading stuff going on there, and the price got pushed up to ridiculous amounts, and then they turned around and dumped that on our heads. So everybody thought the price was going to do spectacular things with XRP when it got its Coinbase listing, but in actuality, it didn't really do much. So that's the thing with the Uniswap is we don't really need the listing on those big exchanges to have the liquidity that we need in order to get in and out of it.
No. The only thing that's only marketing now at this point, really. Getting on a Binance or a Bittrex or those. It's like marketing.
And the reason we're not there is because we are listed on exchanges because they wanted us, not because we paid them.
Yeah.
Again.
Well, they started to see the gains. They started to see the users, and they knew that they could make the fees.
Yeah.
And absolutely. And when you've got a product that you get 24 exchanges listing you organically, and it's not because you're taking your coin and paying people off to list it on your exchanges, and it's actually organic, that should say something a lot more than, some of the other stuff that's out there,
Yeah. And somebody, I'm going to put this up because this brings up kind of my point that I was just going to make. Binance will never let Hex on. It will kill their coin. So that's the other thing that a lot of these exchanges, I think that there's coins that are on their exchanges or they themselves have coins on their exchanges that they don't want it to kill them, because it can and it will. And it really makes them obsolete. It makes exchanges obsolete, with Uniswap and Hex. I mean, it's like, the only real use case that crypto had was go on the exchange and gamble with it, learn how to be a trader, trade it, or buy Monero and be a security coin dude or whatever. I don't know. But other than that, it's like Hex is going to take their business from them.
I'm tired of seeing exchanges get rich. I'm tired of people.
Well, there's nothing you can do about it. They're already rich. They're just getting richer now.
I'm tired of liquidation exchanges getting rich. The leverage platforms getting rich. Everybody's getting rich.
With all the scam wicks.
Crypto except for me. And then, Hex comes along and it's like, okay, I see. Something that you don't have to trade. You don't have to leverage. You don't have to worry about it every single day. You know that it's making more of itself. And everybody and their brother is resisting it because it totally screws up the whole game of the way things are done.
And it's funny and I think it's because of brainwashing, basically, is that they've realized that, okay, our only use case is to all become traders. So we have to be traders. We have to be like we are some kind of Forex masters of crypto. And if we don't have that, we have nothing. And Hex totally obliterates that freaking myth that you don't need to. It's, to a guy like me, it's like a breath of fresh air. I was never good at trading anyway. I didn't like it. It scared the shit out of me all the time trading. I hated it. I freaking hated it. It made me a nervous wreck trading. And Now I don't have to do that. It's not. Hex is like a freaking breath of fresh air in crypto. You know,
and it's time consuming to trade. I mean, you can make money at it, but you have to dedicate your time to watching the prices. You're looking at that block folio every 5 seconds. You're setting alerts on your phone so it goes off when it hits certain prices. I mean, it becomes consuming your life. You don't want something to consume your life. You want to be doing better and more creative things. And you know, if I sit in front of a computer all day and make some trades, yeah, I might make some money, but what am I not doing during that time? You know,
what value are you providing to the rest of the world?
That, you know,
who the fuck is Joe Gatto? Somebody said I look like Joe Gatto.
What, John Gotti?
It says Joe Gatto. I don't know. RG3 equal Joe Gatto. Anyway, what's up? What's up, Hex Jesus?
What's up? I had to rename myself right now since I was getting some flack in the chat.
Yeah, you was.
There's a rename your ass.
No, I have it set to this.
I like Litecoin Moses, so that's how Litecoin
know.
Moses is my bro.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I know you.
In 2 years, every hex name is going to be taken. Literally. I mean, every hex name is going to be taken. I mean, like Hexamaximus, Heximus, like I can't even come up with any more hex names, but like Hex Lambo,
Hexcoin Hex,
Hexcoin Hex, this Hex equals gains, Hex
Richard Hex
Moon.
Jr.
Yeah. Lord Heximus Maximus.
Lord Heximus Maximus.
All these names are going to be taken. But yeah, so the reason the name changes it depends on where you click on which app. So if you click it on Telegram, Discord, Twitter, each platform you click it, the name you had set previously is going to be on there. So you actually have to manually change it.
Oh, in StreamYard?
On the StreamYard, yeah. So like, I what I do is I copy over the StreamYard link you send me, put it to Twitter, and then click it on there. And then my last one was just Litecoin Moses, but last time I clicked it on Discord, and that's why it had like the Hex Jesus on it.
I'll put it on all the promos from now on.
The more you know, yeah.
And so you guys know, as you're watching us, we are not a cult. We do not worship the feet of Richard. Yeah, we are interested in a product that actually does what the hell it's supposed to. And we're excited about it.
Oh, we lost him again.
Oh, no.
Oh, I see. Somebody just put this guy up. Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers.
Huh.
So that's who Joe Gatto's an Impractical Joker guy. Yeah, my wife and my kids watch that show. Now I know who he is. All right. I'll tell them that. They'll be like, you don't look like him.
The Practical Jokers.
Yeah. Johnny, are you a progressive metal fan? What the hell is progressive metal?
You know, I don't know, considering Metallica is now considered classical music.
What?
You guys need to get off of this shit, man. So Metallica grew up in my neighborhood. They played in Norwalk back when I was a kid. Right when we moved to Norwalk, they were there.
And they play it on classic rock channels.
Yeah, they play it on classic rock.
Because classic rock needs the viewers. That's why.
We're just that damn old.
They were like playing in backyards back in the day, and back in the early 80s. Oh, some of you guys weren't even freaking born back then.
I wasn't. That's for sure.
Oh shit.
So after Metallica comes on Simon and Garfunkel, is that the deal now?
Yeah. No, I don't think they're playing on the. I don't think they're playing on the same station, but yeah, I mean it's funny. Newest thing,
but it's like all Van Halen.
Classic rock channel. Next up, Metallica, Enter Sandman. What?
Yeah, I heard it too. It's a freaking drives me.
They're gonna start playing Queen, dude. That's what they're gonna start playing.
Well, you know what else I heard on the classic rock was they were playing Sex Pistols on the classic rock channel. I was like,
really?
Oh, fucking shoot me now, man! Just shoot
Were they playing Anarchy? It seems about the right time, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
Making it a cool version.
So RG3, you got any riots in your neighborhood yet?
Well, actually, believe it. So I live in the outskirts of LA. Actually, outskirts of Orange County. I live in like lily white, freaking suburban, nothing but firefighters, cops, and like you know, those kind of guys that live around me here. So there's no problems out here. This is like, you know, suburbia at its finest. So we go out today, go to the store, and they're freaking rioting in my town. They weren't rioting. They were protesting. They were protesting. So, I mean, it's everywhere. They're doing this shit everywhere. But LA, man, LA's in trouble right now.
Yeah.
There's some shit's about to go down. And then if I don't think that the mayor is dumb enough to launch the National Guard into LA, because you put the National Guard in LA with what's going on out there right now. There's so many freaking people. You're just asking for trouble. I mean, I put up on Twitter war because as soon as I heard the president say I'm sending freaking National Guard, everyone like, oh shit, I've never seen this many people out on the street before. That's the last time you want to send the guard in. You know what I mean? It's like it's just gonna provoke them motherfuckers. And in LA, man. They start tearing some shit up out there, man.
Like I got some buddies that live internationally and stuff, and they're telling me it's media blackout. A lot of people don't even know what's going on in the United States because they don't want, because people copy the United States. So if people see that because when there was riots in Paris, no one gave a shit over here. But if there's riots in the United States, riots magically start across the world, right?
I had no idea.
Yeah, well, they were arresting journalists too.
Yeah, they pepper sprayed in journalists and beat them up too. Just so, I have one of my buddies and stuff. His family is from Minnesota, and what he was telling me what they were doing with the police officers were, I think it was they're more liberal and stuff in there, so they actually will film everything what the cops are doing and what the protesters are doing. And what the cops did is just beat up the journalists, destroyed their cameras so they wouldn't record what they were doing and stuff. Yeah. Literally, so there's a bunch of reporters in that state that are saying that cops grabbed their cameras and just smashed all their shit.
And we have decentralized media now because everybody's got a cell phone with a camera on it.
Yeah,
and we need to really kind of turn towards decentralized media anyway, because otherwise we're just listening to narratives. You know,
and it's the same repeated narrative. That's the funny thing. It's funny how all the verbiage is exactly the same on every channel.
By media blackout, I meant like the news channels, the TV channels, and things like that. Obviously, if you're on Twitter and stuff around the world, you're gonna see everything, right? But I mean, like the average person, you're not getting, because like if you turn it, like RG3 is like, what's watching the news and stuff. It's just every channel is the same thing, Yeah. Just with a different twang of depending if it's left or right,
But there's a shit ton. So I never expected. We never see anything out here. I mean, the whole pandemic thing hasn't really affected out here. We're all spread apart. We're all very, very lily white freaking suburbia out here. This is like the penultimate suburbia. Karen's everywhere. My whole neighborhood is full of it, right? Karen. So this is like Karen neighborhood here, right? So but when I was out, I went to the beach. I went to work on Sunday. Or Saturday, and took the boat out and did some work and stuff, and there was freaking protests all the way coming back home, down in this crazy land of mine where nothing ever happens. We went off ramp, you couldn't get off. The cars were turning around and coming off. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Because cars were literally turning around on the freeway off ramp and coming back down and getting back on the freeway. And I saw just a zillion cops up there. I was like, what? And then we got off on the next exit. And when I got off on the next exit, all four corners were protesters. They weren't rioting or anything, but I mean, loaded every corner. And this was a big intersection with a big street corner. There must have been 150 people on every corner. So probably 500 people out there. I mean, they had signs everywhere, and I was like, holy shit, this is out for that to be out here. And you don't see it out here. So, so this thing has really lit a freaking match underneath some asses. That's for sure, man.
You know what caused it too is like all these, not saying that it's bad, but I mean, a lot of people are making more money off of unemployment than they actually make working. So it's kind of like a lot of people have way more free time than they should have.
Yeah.
And then they're doing a lot of fuck shit now,
But I find it funny. All of a sudden, nobody's, a week ago we were talking about COVID and don't go out. And oh my God, some people want to go out and some people don't want to go out. And some people want to wear masks and some people don't want to wear masks. And oh shit, COVID's going to get you. And then all of a sudden now it's like, okay for everybody to be snuggled up against each other all over the streets. And nobody's saying anything about COVID.
It's because they're wearing bandanas, bro. It's cool.
But they're out there bleeding on each other.
I know. It's crazy.
Dude, there is this guy who had the craziest defense. So they were beating up on this one white dude. Like he was like blood screaming down his face, and he was like, "Stop hitting me! I have HIV, you guys! Stop!" And everyone freaked out. Like, no! Like everyone ran away and stuff. I was like, if that ever happens to any of us, dude, that's
the way to go, huh?
That's the way to go, bro.
No, I got HIV.
I got cooties.
Well, we've got the economic tensions that are happening right now, and you mentioned the unemployment and the extra payment. Now, the unemployment system is very interesting. If you had to collect it, I've never collected a single day of unemployment in my life. The only time I needed it, I was denied. I appealed it 6 times and I didn't get it. There are a lot of people that aren't getting their unemployment. There are people that are not being able to make their rent. So, as far as them, I don't know that it's not that they don't have anything better to do. It's that they don't have anything they can do.
Right.
There is millions of people that are out of work, and there aren't going to be jobs for them to go back to. Mm-hmm. And when it comes down to that, what else are you going to do at this point? Because it's like it's primal rage at this point, because you have lost all control. You learn that your healthcare that you worked your job for to hold on to is no longer going to be there. Now, if you get sick, you're probably dead.
There's a lot of, like I was saying at the beginning of the stream. Right, yeah, there's a lot of shit about to go down. I mean, this is just the cusp. We're not there yet, because people, like I said, it's one thing to miss a month or two of rent or mortgage or whatever, but to lose 4 months or 5 months of that mortgage or rent. Now we're talking, everybody starts panicking. Banks start panicking when people aren't paying their mortgages. 1 or 2 months is one thing. 30 days behind, you're 60 days behind, blah, 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 throw a penalty on there. But when people start going 90, 120, boom, 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 things start falling out like that, and you get massive amounts of people doing that, that's going to change everything. It's going to change everything. And then you got people in the streets with the freaking National Guard.
Well, yeah. And
a pandemic.
We can't depend on the government, and I'm not taking left or right perspectives at all. Either way, it doesn't matter. What we're seeing is the government is basically passing around checks to their buddies, and and they gave us the $1,200 check to look the other way, and that is not
coffee. You got another cutthroat showed up. So by the way, the
lava red.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So what's
I
up?
gotta fix my shit.
Dude, I was liking that, man. You had the whole freaking going.
Andrew Yang was probably the only presidential candidate that I heard that was even talking about any of the things we're talking about right now.
UBI,
and they jacked.
Well, he was prepping for it, man. He guy knew what was coming. He was like, hey,
I wouldn't be surprised. Well, there's a narrative the whole time.
You hit a situation where there is no jobs available,
right?
So how do people maintain? If the jobs are just simply not there. Our whole world has changed over this thing, whether it was blown out of proportion or not. The actions that were taken have changed the economy forever, and it's going to be a long way back and out of this. And
So
I don't have all the answers here.
So Hexcoin, that name's gone too. Like when, just let you know, Hexcoin is gone. So I'm still optimistic long term. We're going to come out of this better. And the bottom line is, folks, we're talking about some stupid shit and we're talking about what's going on right now, but that is the truth. We are going to come out of this. We are going to come out of this better. It's more than likely a cleansing that we need to purge the shit that we've been going through in this country for the last 40 years, which has been, basically the monetary system has failed us all. And hopefully something like crypto can take us out of that. And hopefully something like Hex can take crypto out of the spiral that it's been in. So that's my hopes for the future. And when I see it financially, but let's get on to some more positive things and talk about Hex. Since crypto coffee's in here and we got more brains on the place, I don't want to talk shit because this guy's sitting at ground fucking zero in the middle of Chicago. I call him if he can come on the show. He's like, dude, I got to barricade my windows and put freaking plywood up and shit.
I figured the lighting goes with
you want to hang out in the
Here's crypto.
There's actually a Molotov cocktail right in front of me. It's just burning up.
Oh my God.
He's at Walmart stocking up on ammo, he said. He's like, bro, I got to put a couple more booby traps up in my front door and then I'm good, man. I'll get in the stream with you guys.
Yeah.
What's up, bro?
Not much, man. It's weird times over here, but it's all good. I moved most of my valuable shit into my safe, and then got my protective gear. Not like I'm gonna need it. I'm probably not gonna need it, but I do live in a neighborhood where they said the protests are gonna be at. But I mean that the protests are one thing, but the riots usually come out of that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm all good.
Just put blackstone on your door.
What? What's up?
Just put black-owned house. On your door.
Well, luckily my house is like the shittiest one on the block, and I live next to like some kind of like mansion type thing. So I'm hoping they go after the wealthier individuals. But hey, I got nothing for you guys here.
Well, I'm sitting in my storefront, so if you hear glass breaking, I'm going to be getting my machete.
Versology, that's probably so true about Home Depot.
Yeah, Versology's.
Fuck yeah, that's so true.
So this is financial advice, by the way, by Versology. He says financial advice: buy Home Depot stock. Hey, you know what? Who's ever in freaking plywood right now is making a killing.
Yeah.
Dude,
plywood and spray paint. What
was it? January it was masks. February it was hand sanitizer. March it was
just think there's probably one dude out there that's like sitting there going, I can't believe I invested in hand sanitizer, toilet paper, and fucking Home Depot. So I'm in freaking spray paint up to my eyeballs and plywood. I'm a millionaire.
Be careful.
Well, what do you guys think about
the
people that bought up all the toilet paper and sanitizer?
I read a lot of stuff about that psychologically. It's kind of it's like your first comfort item that you run out of. So mentally, people just think of that as like a thing to start hoarding. It's like
what's interesting because on a free market they can sell that, right? It's just buying a commodity and reselling it at a profit, right? And if it were a collectible, that would be all right. But since it was a commodity that everybody needed, the government stepped in and said you can't do that, right? So that's kind of interesting from both sides if you look at it like that, because if you're that guy that buys that box of toys that first comes out and nobody else gets one and then sells it later, that thing, that's arbitrage. But when it comes to commodities like sanitizer and toilet paper, now we got a problem with that. People need that shit.
So now that I got two smart guys on here that are talking about, I'm gonna throw this at Crypto Coffee because I know he knows what we're talking about.
Sure.
Kinetics came on. We were talking about the S curve, and he learned to me about what the S curve means, and I kind of understood a little bit about it, but he explained a little better to me about the S curve. We talked about a little bit about the S curve of crypto, the S curve of Hex, and how they may coincide, and how Hex may be the other part of the S curve of crypto. What's your opinion on the S curve theory or where we're at as far as Hex goes?
As far as Hex goes, I mean, we just started, and usually that's kind of just the shape that the adoption of things tend to take over time, where it starts off slow until you hit that critical mass, critical inflection point that kicks off the initial hockey stick, right? And then you have the reverse of the hockey stick when it gets high enough and most people start to know all about Hex, and that's probably about the time that people like us will be looking into how much do we sell, at that time, which might be 5 years, 10 years from now. But yeah, it's just we're at the very beginning. It's just launch phase, so we haven't even gotten off the ground yet. I mean, that's what's so exciting about it. You might look at the prices now, compare them to a month ago, and be like, "Oh, I missed out," But 50x compared to the 500 more x that it can go it's really nothing. You got to zoom out and just think about it in the terms of a few more years.
Yeah. Exactly.
We still haven't used a single Back to the Future log. If you guys have ever seen Back to the Future 3, when they're throwing the logs into the fire so the train goes faster, when not Coinbase, but when we're still missing all these big exchanges. So eventually, as we're getting more and more traction once the AA passes, and then it's a solid project, I think we're going to start getting exchange adoption at that. Those will be the big logs when people, then when KuCoin, then when Bittrex, when, all these other exchanges, and then eventually, bam, as soon as people just start seeing oh, this has got some legs, it's staying power, and you'll start getting tons more people playing into it. And then there's going to be a lot of because
then there's social metrics too. Yeah,
exactly. One thing I think is once we do hit the market top of, I'm not sure if the market top is this year or late next year, but when we do hit the market top, right, and we every crypto goes down 80%, right, during a bear market, right, what I think is going to happen is that all that Hex, because all the Hex is there, people are going to buy it up, and because they won't know what to do with it, because the price action is just kind of stable and everything, they're going to stake it all. And then what's going to happen is you're going to have a constriction of supply, and then what happens when you have no supply?
Yep. Yeah. That's how the dynamic is supposed to work. It's supposed to be continual people taking out supply by staking. And once this reaches an actual, basically the other end, when it gets flat again, but flat in terms of mass adoption. Right now it's flat because nobody knows about it. Yeah. And then there's going to be a giant S, which is accelerating growth, then decelerating. And then you've got, it can function how it was designed to function in a mass adoption environment, which is perfect. It's the perfect design. I mean,
and I see that happening when no one's worried about where does the ETH go? Is it being recycled? And I see once that's not an issue.
Well, when the public perception sees Hex as a stable investment and a good, a smart decision, right now it just seems reckless. It seems it's a moonshot. Why would you put all your money in that? But people like us are the early adopters. You got to have those crazy people at first, because otherwise no one's going to believe in it. And
thanks, Coffee.
Just kidding.
I don't think it's crazy
as you, man. It's not to us because we have more information.
It's the people that are dismissing it without even looking at it are the ones that think it's crazy.
Well,
they're not looking. They're like, no, I can't look. Somebody told me it was a scam. I can't look.
Yeah, you got that right. Yeah, man.
How much hate is Ethereum gonna? What are these these Bitcoin Maximus gonna say when Ethereum flips them?
Dude, they're gonna have a lot of explaining to do to themselves, really. Why did I warn people to get out of this, so much, when clearly, not even just Hex, there's a lot of legitimate projects out there. They're not all trying to scam you. So you're gonna have to really be telling yourself some made up kind of bullshit stories about why Bitcoin is still right. It gets harder and harder the more shit that proves it wrong to convince yourself. And these people with 50,000 followers. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean,
no, I talked about that earlier. It was all these maxis, they know what they're doing. They know what they're saying. They know what they're backing. They know who's putting money in their pockets and why they're getting it. And their narrative doesn't match what's really happening behind the scenes. And they all know this. And some of them, like I said, walked away. Some of them have shut their channels down, walked away, and completely even left crypto. And I think that's because they realize what's going on. And it was about, technology and advancement and trying to hold it back and, add an extra hard drive and an extra RAM to a Commodore 64 versus moving on to the new freaking, processor of the day, and that's what they're doing. That's basically what they're doing with Bitcoin, is they want to, take a Commodore 64 and put a freaking new new processor or new hard drive on it, and then some RAM, and say, hey, here we got the better computer now.
Right.
Yeah, there's just so much going on, so much innovation that it's hard to ignore and just say, oh, Bitcoin is fine for me. That's good enough for me, guys. It's like, I'll just keep playing Atari my whole life and never buy a PS4, Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you went Atari on me, man. I was talking Commodore 64. You went freaking Atari on me.
Hey, man, Atari's good.
So that's
N64.
And that's kind of old now, too.
No, that's the shit, dude. I don't care what anyone says, man. GoldenEye, man.
Oh,
GoldenEye.
Shit, dude.
I played way too much of that.
I went and got one of those retro Ataris thinking, hey, this would be pretty cool. And I played it for about 5 minutes and said, man, what was I thinking?
But dude, if you had the original one, you could actually make some money on that now because it's become a novelty, like a retro item.
Yeah.
Tone Bays going from steak
Tone Bays
to
is
ramen.
gonna go from having steak with you to having ramen. He'll warm up the water and rip open the freaking flavor pack for you.
Yeah.
No, he'll probably be okay because he's getting paid for his courses. He doesn't trade his money, and I mean, he tells you how to trade your money, but he doesn't trade his money. He's getting paid. He's got money. He's got a stack that he's sitting on. I wouldn't be surprised if that big ass whale that came in wasn't him. Or at least some of that, because even if you watch that interview at the end with the attorneys, he's like, wait a second. So if I claim now I get 90% of my stuff is auto stake, so I can't dump on his head. Watch it real close right there at the end, because the light bulb goes on in his head. It's like, I'm gonna claim it and I'm gonna dump it. Oh wait, he fixed that. He's on to me. And that's really awesome. And the Bitcoins, the Bitcoin claim, and everyone's thinking, okay, well, people claiming now they're going to dump on big payday. No, they only get 10% of that.
Yeah.
From the time they claim it, it's 350 days before they can dump it. So now they can't dump it until the middle of next year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got a year to hold it and a year to think about, maybe I want to buy some with ETH. And the ones that they buy with ETH are an order of magnitude higher because you can just get so much more bang for your buck if you spend ETH. So it's that freemium onboarding that gets you.
And you watch, well, okay, there was a YouTuber. I'm not going to call out names. I already called out to him. We won't call out names. But he's at the end of his video going, well, I didn't get as much hex as I thought I'd get for my Bitcoin free claim. I don't think that's fair. It's not what they promised. So maybe I'll put a little ETH in and just see what happens. But I still think it's a scam.
Yeah. So your free coin was
sure you do. You got a stack. And I think a lot of them do have stacks. They just don't want to talk about it. It's like this secret.
I know for a fact that they do. They really do. The average YouTuber I've interviewed and stuff, they all either are super interested or they free claimed and they bought it a couple of Ethereum here and there. Dude, a bunch of people.
There's little symbols too. I know. I don't know if you guys know Data Dash or ever watched his videos, but he's got a video about top 20 altcoins of 2020 or something. He doesn't talk about Hex in any of them, but on the thumbnail, he faded out the little Hex logo, and you could see the Hex thumbnail. And I'm like, oh, is he going to talk about Hex? But no, he didn't want to. But it's a little clue, a little. They leave little clues.
I think
I was into Hex. I was into Hex.
We're aware of, and people are willing to admit for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just hoping that they apologize. These Bitcoin maximalists apologize to their
never apologizing.
Not necessarily to themselves, but to their viewers and the
they're
people
not
that
going
invested
to
in their school. I know they won't. I'm trying to. I'm hoping that
that's
they will.
why I was hoping we could get Conrad.
See, you guys have thoughtfulness. You guys have, you guys think differently than these motherfuckers because they've been doing this for a long time now, and they haven't stopped. And they're not gonna stop, even when they know that they're wrong. And that's the thing that I was talking about at the beginning of the show was that these guys know what they're doing. They know, and they wouldn't be. Look, if they could manipulate Hex, they'd talk highly of it. If they could get in and get out and short it and do all that kind of shit that they want to do with an altcoin. And some of them even call them shit coins, but I know they were all trading them back in, the day.
They still do.
And they still do. And they probably still have bags and all that kind of shit, but they're all maxis now. But I know that those guys, were they because they can't mess with Hex, they don't like it. They don't
how
like
am I
it.
supposed to
Because-
manipulate this? It's got all these safety features and all these things that are keeping me from dumping on people's heads.
Yep.
Yeah, like you said, you can't, early end stake, you're screwed. If you get in your BTC claim, you only get 10% of it to dump on somebody's head. If you're a whale, you can't just jump in and start trying to manipulate things, Oh, and then, the Goxers and all those people, they can't get in anyway, So there's all kinds of safety precautions. And of course, the other thing is, okay, we'll put some ETH in. Oh, well, now they're like, oh, now it's a scam, man. If you got to put ETH in there, why would I put something of value? Why would I pay something of value?
Why would I go
for
on an
this
exchange and exchange my ETH for any altcoin?
Yeah.
And look,
and then ask where the ETH goes after that.
And then I'm going
Where
to
did
call
my
up finance and say, hey, man, what'd you do with my ETH? I want to know where it went.
of all the maximalists that are out there, right? 20% of them literally only have Bitcoin. The other 80% secretly have bags of altcoins. They all do, because I know for a fact, because I've been befriending some of these people a little bit, right? Because if you've been in crypto for since 2017, you knew a lot of these guys on Twitter, and eventually their characters changed from XRP dude or Stellar Lumen's guy or this or this, and they turned into a maximalist, right? I'm still on friendly terms with a lot of these guys, and I talk to them, and they're like, well, yeah, it's like. It becomes a cult where they hold altcoins, but they don't tell anybody because dude, it's just I would get destroyed by the group and stuff. Yeah,
they feel guilty. They would get destroyed by their group, and I can't say from their perspective, right? Because I don't have 50,000 followers, but who knows? And maybe I would have bitched out on Hex too if I had 50. I don't think I would, but you never know because you have to adhere to all these people that are watching your every word, and they're making financial decisions, whether or not you say no financial advice. They're going to watch you and they're going to make an action on that. So I think they feel a lot of guilt, really.
Yeah.
So here's something to say about that, though. So I've gone on a lot of these guys' channels and looked at their followers. I'm like, man, look at these guys. Freaking 53,000 subs and 10,000 subs and 20,000 subs, 60,000 subs. I'm like, wow, look at these guys. But how many are on their stream? And I look at their stream and they're pushing 30, 40. We're pushing 52 people on this stupid little show. And they're pushing 30 or 40 people.
Yeah.
You know what? I never think too highly of myself, guys. Just to let you know, I'm self-deprecating motherfucker, man. I've never taken this too seriously or myself too seriously.
That's one thing I've noticed though, is I've got 800 subscribers, right? And I regularly get about 800 views and about 100, 200 likes, which means about a quarter of the people, probably all of my subscribers, are watching this at least one time.
Yeah.
And liking and commenting. So people are engaging. They're interacting.
They are.
People here right now, RG3, that show that we did the other day, there was only 20 people watching on that show. Remember that
on
one?
Your show?
No. We did one with Nerd Girl and some dude.
Oh yeah. Oh, that one. Yeah, there was only they only had 20, and the dude had 30,
40K. Yeah,
40K subs.
Yeah,
and there was 20 people watching. I'm looking at it going, man, we get more users. I've never had that low of users ever.
We have real users.
I've gotten bored with the old YouTubers. I mean, it's literally like watching old reruns. They don't have any new material to talk about. They're not really covering anything innovative. It's just, well, what's Bitcoin going to do today? Hexo show's cool because Hex has so many different statistics and so many variables and so many metrics that he can literally spend a 30-minute show just talking about those, Yeah. It's incredible.
All right, Far Out Aliens. Yeah. No, he's been around for a long time, man. Don't talk like that. You got a great thing going here. I'll take the praise, bro. Thanks, man. And it's because of the people like you, guys that got in early, guys that have been around, that are sitting here hitting the like, comment, and subscribe button, guys.
Smash the notification bell.
Smash it. I never say that. I never shill our channel here, which I should. But maybe that's why we're growing like we are. I thought we were growing pretty good. I'm like, we got 500 subs the other day, and then I got the message and then I sent it out. So we got 500 subs and now we're 550 or 560 or something like
555 at the beginning of the stream.
Yeah, it was 555. Today's the Cuatro Cinco, baby. Cuatro Cinco. So
what day are we on? 181 or something? Or 185?
185?
What
day are we for the adoption amplifier?
Yeah.
Oh shit, man! I don't know. I should be paying more attention to Hexo's show, but I'm sitting there looking at the chat the whole time, trying to I had to kick a bunch of people out.
Well, I want to give a big shout out to Crypto Coffee. I love the higher level concepts that you put out there. The chicken and the egg.
See, you just said
theory.
it. Higher level.
Yeah, there we
Thanks,
go.
man.
He has an
Appreciate
interesting way of thinking about things, you know,
Yeah.
that
Heck
just
yeah.
isn't out there.
Yeah.
He's like the chillest guy in crypto. You know, he just sits back and say, "Hey, what if?"
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Let's look at the what if perspective, and
Yeah.
you have to be able to do that because, you know, if you just dismiss things, you're going to miss opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, there are diamonds in the rough. There's outlier events, and I try to be chill and open minded, and I always admit, you know, I could be wrong, but you know, people will still find a way to hate you no matter what. Even
But it's okay to be wrong.
which I've started to embrace. I kind of actually like it now. At first, I was like, "Oh man, these people really hate me." But it's, you know, it's like 1 in every 10, right? Like for every 10 people that love you, it's just like one that's.
We
know
give
what's-
too much attention to that 10.
You know what's
we give
funny?
too much attention.
I know.
Is the real haters. So I get some real good ones, but the real haters, they DM you. They don't it's like they don't post on your public shit. They DM you like, you fucking piece of shit, kind of, you know, that those kind of people. They're like, they'll do it, you know, on DMs, but they won't do it, you know, in public. It's weird. It's like, freaking man up. You don't want to call somebody something, or you don't like something, you say it in public. Pieces of shit.
Conrad had a threat on his stream.
That's what I heard.
And
Now,
I
who
was
the
thinking
hell
to
is going to
myself,
go and
it's like,
threaten?
all right, big badass, you're going to threaten an elderly old man. You know, that's not cool. You know.
And he did it in public, or was it
He read it off. I think he deleted the comment, but if you watch one of his last streams, somebody was literally telling him they were going to come to his house and whip his ass. You know, it's like, oh come on,
Christ.
you know,
What a tough guy.
freaking keyboard warrior, hard ass mother. I'm not going to say it, but it really just rubbed me the wrong way. It's like, all right, come on, show your face. Let's see you.
Yeah, bring
Yeah.
it.
Let's see you stand by what you got to say.
Bring it. That's all I got to say. Bring it.
Bring it.
Yeah, I'm hearing gunshots in the distance right now, man.
Oh, dude.
What?
Come on. You're in
Bro.
Chicago. That's normal for you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're
They're
in
just
Chirac,
fireworks,
bro.
guys. They're
You're in
just
Chirac.
fireworks.
That's just Monday night, bro. That's all it
That's
is.
pirate right there. Pirate.
Yeah, that's
Machete.
pirate.
I told you I'm in my storefront. We're going to have a bunch of one-armed bandits about the time they try to loot here.
Do you only make masks, or what else did you make?
Did you see the dragon? I'll show
Yeah.
you the dragon.
Oh, here we go.
He's got a dragon, the whole dragon that he made.
Damn.
Yeah, check that shit out.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, dude, he's got a whole dragon there.
Dude.
He makes props and shit. I love all those skulls, man. I love them all. He's got
Damn.
masks and everything else in there.
Damn, what do you sell? What's the theme of the
He-
store?
He makes props. And
Oh,
so
wow.
I make a little bit of everything, man. From you know, that's the thing. You know, when you're in business and you got to be adaptable. So I make a little bit of everything. So I make everything from shifter knobs or beer taps to surgical trainers.
You're literally
Oh.
a human 3D printer.
The whole concept for my shop is if you think it, I can make it.
Yep.
Wow, that's
Okay.
cool.
Hey, by the way, my capsule made it up to the space station, and they got up there safe. I was pretty
Nice.
freaking proud of that, man.
That's right.
That was cool.
Awesome.
That was cool.
Wait,
Shout
hold on, I
out
don't think I heard
Mousegate.
about this.
That's a big freaking deal, man.
Yeah.
that,
Fill me in. What happened?
Well, SpaceX sent humans up. So
Right.
private company sent humans up to the space station, and they made it. I worked at SpaceX, and I moved that capsule, when the one that actually moved the humans. So I moved that capsule around SpaceX, and then packed it up for storage and sent it to Florida for the launch.
Oh damn.
That's a
awesome.
while back ago. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw that on the news. I was watching the live stream for a little bit. I didn't know you had like anything to do with that. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. I've been working at
RG3 's a
SpaceX for the
man,
last few years.
Wow. Fuck.
It's a big deal. I watched it with the
I mean, we're gonna
kids
have
and
to get off the
family.
planet pretty soon. So
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Go,
don't
come
send
on,
me
get up
to
there. Well, I'll be. Yeah. You guys, your guys' kids might make it. I won't.
yeah. So that's fucking cool.
You at least got to stay around for another 15-year stake, dude. Come on.
That's right. Claim your stake.
Claim your stake.
We'll be going to these freaking. What are we going to call them after? So after the big payday, what are we going to call the get-togethers? We'll have to have like Hex. There's got to be some OG, freaking cutthroat parties or something that we meet. Maybe at some fucking island somewhere like in the Seychelles or something. And
it's got to involve steak every time. We got to start with like a bougie steak.
It's some. We'll fly some Wagyu in, right? We'll have some Wagyu jetted in.
We got to watch this Bitcoin maximalist like be hiring snipers.
Well, it'll be over by then. Those guys will all be. They'll be actually cooking.
They'll be converts. They'll be Hex converts.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay to have Tone Bays flip our steaks for us.
A little chef hat on him.
A little chef hat on.
A little apron.
Yeah, fly some shit in from Japan. Private jet our Wagyu in, and we'll be sitting on the Seychelles. What are we gonna call the party?
Hex on the beach.
Hex on the beach. It's definitely got to be on a private beach somewhere that doesn't adhere to monetary policies of the United States.
Yeah, Panama is sounding pretty good from the sound of it.
You know what I think?
If you asked Richard,
it's Puerto Rico. I think it's Puerto Rico, man. They've got this thing.
That's what Pundy Jim says.
20. Yeah. It's something 20 and 22. There's a law. There's a new law on the books that Puerto Rico just put out over the last couple of years because of the big hurricane they had out there. So U.S. citizens, it's for U.S. people. You can capitalize on some tax exemptions for going out there and becoming part of their program. And it's a lot. I looked at another one in Europe, on one of the islands out there in Europe. I forget what it was. Malta. Malta has another program where you can do that, but you have to pay. You have to drop them like $600K. So you drop them $600K, you become a resident, and I mean the place is freaking gorgeous. I mean, Malta's like, holy shit. I mean, that's a beautiful place. Yeah. But you got to get yourself a place there. You got to live there, and you got to drop $600K on them. And then here in you don't have to do that in Puerto Rico. It's a really cool program.
If you live in Puerto Rico for 185 days out of the year, there's no capital gains either.
Yeah.
That's what I think that's what Gary's doing right now.
Yeah, and if you don't move the money around, I think it is like, so if you're like a day trader or something, you have to pay certain kind of gains. But if you're like somebody who holds something that gains value after time, then you're exempt from the taxes. And and then if you have a business there, you get business gains. So if you set up an internet business down there, you even get gains from that, tax exemptions for that. So it's really a cool deal. And I looked at the north side. You can surf there, man. They're surfing on the northwest side, and they've got some really nice beach properties out there. So I'm like, ooh, that's looking almost as nice as Costa Rica, baby.
I would buy a beach house and then buy a mountain house. Because like the minute I hear anything, I'm jetting on it.
Better buy a helicopter too.
I know. Yeah.
Helicopter.
SpaceX helicopter.
Well, that's kind of a chill place there, and it's the Gulf of Mexico, I think, right? Isn't it?
No, it's just outside. It's in between the Caribbean and the Atlantic. So
it's like dead in the middle, right? Isn't it? Like, well,
let me see on my screen here. So as I'm trying to figure out how to do this.
The Caribbean, it's just west of the Caribbean.
Off of Florida, it runs like a circle all the way down to South America. There's just a chain of islands. Nice. And it's beautiful. I went there 2018 and 2019.
In Puerto Rico?
There's some pretty ghetto places though that you don't want to be a white guy after.
Shit, dude, I live in LA, man. You want to see some ghetto? We got some freaking Coffee's from Chicago, man. I'm sure he's got some ghetto on the south side there.
A little bit.
but the things that I was looking at, like the north side, it was the northwest side, I think, is like kind of the surf area, the beach area, and it was just gorgeous, man. All the pictures, everything I saw was just gorgeous.
Well, it's crazy because the north side has all the rainforests, and then they've got a 9,000 foot peak in the middle of the island that steals all of the water on that side and you get to the other side and it's almost a desert on the south side of the island.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
all it's like if you've ever been out to rural eastern plains of Wyoming, it's like sagebrush. It's almost the exact same scenescape.
So these are the things that we're going to talk about on Discourse Syndicate, because we got to Hexicans got to prepare ourselves. We got to get
That's
ready.
right. That's
We got to
right.
get ready for big payday. We got to get ready for the future. We got to know what to do. We got to understand, what we got to do in order to protect ourselves and our money and all of our hex gains. And
How about a bunker? You guys ever look into building a bunker?
Dude,
not in a while. Maybe last night.
I'm not a hoarder. I'm not one of those prepper guys, man. I'm like, I'm like, give me some flip flops and some freaking board shorts and the beach, and whatever, dude. I'm gonna live free.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in a bunker, as our RG3 said. Imagine the Karen's facial expressions when they walk into my store.
Jeez. Yeah,
I'm the weird guy on the block, man.
I live in
Nothing wrong with
Carenville.
that.
You look like you're summoning demons from the underworld or something.
I love it. I love it.
I'm the needful things store, right?
So this is so Discourse Syndicate is kind of like the opposite of Hexo's show. He's got the good side, and this is the evil side over here, the dark side of
Oh my
Hex.
god.
Look at Coffee there, dude. He looks like some kind of a freaking demon coming out of the freaking earth right now.
It just looked like to me I had a burn barrel in this room.
I got flames going behind me. We got skulls and freaking dragons in the other one.
I got a pillar of skulls here.
There we go.
I got a pillar of skulls. A pillar of skulls.
That is so dope. How many people could say they got a pillar of skulls?
Not me.
I like my chair. It's almost like Richard's. It's kind of a throne-like kind of sort of thing going on.
Yeah, it is with the diamond tuck and roll and shit.
And I'm the only one out here repping Jesus. Man.
It's blasphemy. You're probably going straight to freaking hell in a handbasket with that shit.
Thanks for trying to purify us, though.
That's all right. I'm a pagan. I can say any of that stuff I want. All right. So before we've been on for 2 hours. Anybody got anything else we want to leave out there for everybody?
Stay safe wherever you guys are.
Yeah.
We gotta do that thing. Do your own research. We're not financial advice. Thoughts, right?
Yeah.
If you're an American citizen, look into Puerto Rico because you've already got citizenship there.
Malta doesn't seem too bad.
It's not like you're running from your citizenship, and you don't have to give up your citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
You still get to remain an American citizen, and you're just in a territory, and they've got benefits because Puerto Rico's in need right now. That's the problem. They got wiped out, and it's a program and it may only run for another couple of years. But what they're saying is that if you get involved in that program in the beginning, and they say that it could. It's not that it's going to be canceled, but it could be canceled in the next couple of years. But if you did get into it, you got like a 20-year span, I think, and you could even sell that thing. You could sell your position in it. At a later date if you don't want it, you don't want to stay there or whatever. So it's kind of a cool deal. I started reading into it and looking into it, but it's interesting. I definitely don't have all the answers about it, but something you might want to look at. So
you know what good business could work out there if you were to you have a home generator business, dude. That's one of the main complaints that happened in Puerto Rico is that a lot of houses didn't have power for a long time.
Yeah,
when we flew in
about going out there.
2018.
Yep.
Go ahead, man.
I was thinking about going out there and setting up a rigging company to start installing equipment like that and putting stuff up on roofs and things like that. But
a lot of those damaged hotels could use your services, that's for sure. But when we flew in 2018, it was night when we were coming in, and you could just see swaths of neighborhoods that were just blacked out. And you're like, is that water? And you weren't sure if that was water or not. And then all of a sudden you'd see a car drive across it, and that'd be the only light through that section of the neighborhood. It was crazy.
Wow. Right on. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for coming and hanging out with us today. We appreciate all of you. Like, comment, subscribe, smash them up, do all that good stuff. Remember, this isn't financial advice, and none of us are experts. Some of us are smarter than others, but That's what this is for. It's for you guys. If you do donate anything, it's going to be going back to the community somehow, some way. We're going to figure something out here at the end of the year for a big payday. And that's where all that goes. So thanks, guys, for showing up. Appreciate all of you. And we'll catch you on Wednesday at 6 o'clock, Mr. Jesus. And don't be late. 6 o'clock.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Dollar cost averaging is cool.
Dollar cost averaging is cool.
Yeah, but it's cooler to be a Chad, dude. You just got one big steak.